Middle ground politics. People's Manifesto style guidelines. People-led politicians, this is what the people want. No more corruption in politics. A stop to politicians serving globalist agencies. The people want independent politicians serving the people. We are at a fork in the road. Continue forward into an over-regulated future for our children, social credit score system, political parties controlling our lives, not working for us, a globalist cabal treating us as if we are livestock. The signs for a dark future for us and our descendants are everywhere. It is time to end corrupted politics and political parties. Bringing in middle ground politics in the UK is a massive challenge. If you step forward for election, the job will become your life. There is so much to be done to reverse all the wrongs. UK politics is now a string of parties stocked with politicians who serve those parties, and those parties are serving other powers and not serving the real needs of the people. The more the number of independent candidates, the better. It is possible to take control of politics in the UK and change it to being people-led. The elected politician will regularly attend Parliament. The politician will be a people-led politician. She will monitor all local council services which are of interest to the people. Council whom are describing themselves as the local authority will be told to recognize their real role. The politician will keep the people, community, in which she is elected, informed of what she is doing. This can easily be done in the current technological age. For example, monthly newsletter delivered electronically and posted on the politician's website. The politician will always consult with the people. Consultation will include referendums on any subject or action which the people must decide. This is people-led politics. The politician will be accessible to all peoples for hearing people with any concerns or helpful ideas which can result in any feasible improvements for the community. The politician will hold regular meeting with the leader of the local council. This will be to ensure that the council consults with the people community about any actions they plan which will have an impact on members of the community. The politician will ensure that a local council understands it is owned and led by the people and only participates in service standards and actions which are approved by the community. The council will be people-led in what it does. The politician will regularly review local council services. The politician will investigate all complaints made against the local council. The politician will participate in reviewing laws which have been introduced and are detrimental to the rights and freedoms of the people. The politician will, with civil services, study those services, ensure changes are suggested if such reform is needed. Housing. Both private and public. There is much to reform here. Housing is a universal human right and not to be a source of profiting and debt creation. Homelessness must be fully eradicated. Local councils will ensure that affordable homes are produced and that a return to secure tenancies is put in place. The private rented sector requires reforms. Property letting agencies require reform. Credit rating agencies require reform. Transport. Services sold off to the private sector will be looked at. Health services, NHS, reviews and reforming are needed. Review the legal aid system and return it to being accessible to those that need to make use of it. Vehicle and driving license services. Driving licenses will be put back to being a lifetime license. Having to buy your license every 10 years is simply another type of stealth tax. Education requires a lot of reforms. Standards must be put back into place. Higher education. The right to access higher education for peoples from working class and middle class backgrounds needs to be re-established and the current bank loan debt trap system abolished. Local taxation being carried out by local councils will be looked at and reformed wherever needed. Handing out vast sums of taxpayers' money to overseas countries and global agencies requires a very thorough review and reforms. Taxpayer money is for the needs of the people. The politician does not support any actions which uses taxpayers' money to finance wars overseas. The police. Retraining the police to only serve communities. Middle ground politicians will focus on reviewing the military services and their roles. A return to family values, your children are yours, they are not owned by the state. A full return to trial by jury when it is requested. A review of social services and probable retraining for them. Councils will be people-led to enable the creation of local family-owned business services. This will be a priority. Immigration will be reviewed. The politician will work to bring reform. The BBC will be looked at very closely and appropriate reforms made. The public have so many alternatives. They are not interested in funding a state-controlled media. The reasons are obvious. There is much to look at regarding the BBC, the wealth they hold, etc. Mainstream news services will be freed from political control and financing. All laws created and targeted at the people by mainstream political parties since 1989 require reviewing. The environment in cities will be looked at closely. Cities can be green places while still offering that which is expected from a city. The same applies to towns and villages. Why this has not already been done is very bizarre. Enabling the country to become self-sufficient in producing our own food supply needs will be a priority. We can grow any fruit or vegetable in the UK. The same applies to livestock. Farms closed down through incentives and political trickery must return to producing food. The built environment will be steered towards being naturally green. Building planning laws require reviewing and reforming. The activities of any foreign-originated corporations in the UK, either active within the UK or online, internet, will be reviewed. They must not be lifting data from the internet on UK citizens. Computers will be openly on sale, offering alternative platforms. Microsoft will still be available, but they will need to review their intrusive methods. The same applies for Google. Reforms are required. The use of smartphones will be reviewed to ensure they are useful but not useful as tools for controlling people and spying on the lives of people. The multiple debt creation methods at play in the UK will be investigated, reviewed and reformed. This includes activities by banks, courts and local councils. The UK must become energy independent. This can be achieved through science and invention. The UK family visa system put in place by Labour and Conservatives requires a reform. It has been used to break up and destroy families. This must be stopped. The sanctity of marriage and family rights must be a priority. The civil service will be steered to be open and transparent and open to reforms. It must serve the people. Climate change will be investigated along with any organizations which are pushing the narrative. The exact truth is required. If any member of the public flags up any past politicians, parties, or organizations whom have indulged in any questionable activities, an investigation must be initiated. Globalist agencies. We the people can choose to work with them under terms and conditions produced by us. We can also outrightly reject them if they in any way interfere with the rights, freedoms and sovereignty of we the people. War will be totally rejected. There is always a diplomatic middle ground solution. Invention, innovation, creation of technology must be of a type which serves the people's needs and never be used for any other purpose. Debts created through borrowing by political parties and others in which the debt is picked up by generations of taxpayers will require reviewing and appropriate action. Nationalization of any private sector business, corporations, charity, company which purchased public housing or public services is for consideration if it benefits the people. Uncontrolled migration will be looked at and the negative outcomes reversed. It might be that an investigation is required to look at those who took actions to create uncontrolled migration. We will be allies with other countries for the economic benefits, advancement of our people and our country, but never for wars. A politician must always work as a buffer against any harms, oppression, tyranny, debt creations or any negative actions directed at his/her community, no matter where those harms originate from. Any financial organization which works to create bad economic, social and living outcomes for the people in order to undermine the success of middle ground politics will be very quickly identified and held accountable. It does not matter how powerful they believe themselves to be. Any attempts to introduce a social credit score system will be stopped in its tracks and those behind it investigated. The use of cash will never be stopped. It will always be a fully allowed option. The censoring of people will become illegal. Freedom of speech is vital that people are able to debate. Any agency participating in any causing of fear to coerce citizens, or use forms of reporting which is designed to distort people perceptions, brainwashing, will be investigated. Common law will be the country's mainstay law. We must understand, we the people are sovereign. Mainstream political parties and mainstream news have been using confusing double-talk speech to fool people into agreeing to actions, regulations which are not good for the people. This must be stopped. The creation and distribution of money for economics within the country must be reviewed. If a great reset is needed, it will be one created and led by we the people. Artificial intelligence is welcome to be used as a means of enabling and helping people. It is not acceptable if it used to spy on people, deny or limit public debate, apply censorship on or offline, or interfere with the liberties and freedom of expression by the people. Middle ground politicians can accept additions to this manifesto-style plan from any member of the public if the addition is logical and feasible. The people want to create the future. This is how to do it.